Great. So I'm happy to talk about the vintage 2020. It was a vintage which I missed for many, many years in Burgenland because, as everybody knows, in the Austrian, German, Switzerland, Alpine wine regions, we might be one of the warmer parts, but 2020 had this amazing cool nights. 2020 had also for us dry weather, but dryness in Burgenland is something very normal. The wines used to go very down to get the water anyway. So we had about 300 milliliters of rain. The right situation, we had less growing. So the good thing was that the sugar degradation went a little bit down. And with the cool nights, we improved the fruitiness. So you have moderate alcohol while a great fruit balance. Just tasted today the Rosé from Stein 2020. I'm really happy that I'm able to write down on the label, and it also have the 12.5 alcohol. So it's a little bit less than the years before, which is not a mistake, especially in the creaminess. Fermented it quite cloudy and left it long on the hard lace. So it's still on the hard lace, and you really feel this kind of citric, slightly salting, oyster shells, grapefruit aromas. It's a wine which has this drinkability, but at the same time complexity. It's like a light burgundy in a rosé version, I would say. For the white wines, 2020 is an amazing Burgundian vintage. So for me, the winery for Pinot Blanc specialized in it was a great vintage because we had more acidity than the years before. And also the acidity has this more like pressure on the back. So you have the creaminess in the front, and on the very end, you have the citric pressure, which makes the wine a little bit longer, which I really appreciated it. Oh, as you see, I'm very bad with the phones, honestly, even if it's recorded now. The case of the red wines for 2020, I remember when we was harvesting Blaufränkisch, you had this dark like 13%, which is absolutely perfect. And
oh no.
Harvest. The harvest for us in Burgenland started on the 11th of September and was already finished on the 1st of October. So we had the 3 warm weeks that was harvested quite quick. And this year, in case of Prieler, I had a huge luck because I took a decision which cost me a little bit more, but we doubled the harvest team because I always thought about Corona. If one group has, we can still harvest with the other one. But this was the perfect situation because the warm, when we started to harvest, it had like 30 degrees Celsius. So we anyway had to hurry up. And it just went like this quickly, day by day, in the ripeness. And so we got every grape in the perfect weather situation harvested. And the good thing was in my case, I mean, because of this crazy vintage year 2020, I had much more time in the vineyard, in the cellar, and less on the phone. So in that case, it was really great. I had my 120% of attention just about harvesting the grapes and the perfection of fermentation, of ranking and everything, and really to be absolutely sure to give the wines enough time and the hard lace to give the wines enough time if they want to do malolactic fermentation. If not, it's absolutely in that case, it's a huge advantage of the 2020 vintage. And I'm happy to have that Burgenland has one time again this cool night which brings this crispy, salty character more in front than the powerful attraction.